And I think we are now acknowledged as one of the biggest democracies in the world. We have carried out several elections.
We walk the talk, not only talk the talk.
Mayor of Palu. There we go. That's the Mayor of Palu. Palu is located in the southeast of Sulawesi Island. So it took about 3 Mayor Ahmad Abu Talib, Mayor Eric Garcetti, and also our friends Emilia Sais from the UCLG, and Milak from C40, and all the delegates coming from the participating cities, including Indonesian mayors, for joining us tonight. Let me name a few. The Mayor of Palu, Pak Rahmat Masud. Where are you, Pak Rahmat? Mayor of Palu. There we go. That's the Mayor of Palu. Palu is located in the southeast of Sulawesi Island. So it took about 3 to 4 hours of flying to get into his city. And then the Mayor of Palembang. Are you here yet? Because one bus was left behind. So some of us were a bit behind. Already here now. All participants, all delegation, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me on behalf of the people and the government of Jakarta to welcome all of you in this city. You have experienced, it's the first day in our city. I hope Jakarta treats you well so far, and we hope that you will enjoy Jakarta. But allow me to say a little bit about our city. This city has islands of 111 islands, part of our city. Perhaps this is the only city in the world, megapolitans, that have islands as part of the city. 11 were populated, so they're located north of us, and south of us were the highlands. So we are in the locations that has been central of trades for centuries. And the ship that we are at, the Pinisi, this is the ship that has transported spices from the Malukus all the way to Africa, all the way to Europe for centuries. So this is the one, the ship that has transported all the spices there. So we have decided, let's do the first evening, having a dinner in a coastal area, enjoy the sunset. Unfortunately, the cloud was was not that friendly to us today. But we would like you to experience that Jakarta is not a city in the central of a continent. It is actually in the coastal area. And we have been working to transform this coastal area into visitable places. In the past, the coastal area was mostly for industry. Unfortunately, minimum engagement. So generally, Jakartans didn't feel like they're living in the coastal area. So in the past few years, we started working on that, and we're grateful to see the result. Now more and more people are coming to the beach. More and more people coming to the coastal area. So that's a little bit about us, and the rest, we'll have the more serious session tomorrow. Tonight, we hope you enjoy the evening, the engagement, the music, and I hope this will bring you a special experience of having an evening in the Pinisi ship that has been here for hundreds of years. And by the way, the UNESCO has already declared this as intangible World Heritage, so the Pinisi. So if we are actually opening up everything, it can actually sail. We will be doing a little bit of sailing. We'll make sure we'll come back to Jakarta, so don't worry. It's only surrounding this area. And again, thank you everyone. I would really like to express my appreciations to all of you that are making the effort to come to Jakarta. And many have traveled so many hours to come to Jakarta. Jakarta, Indonesia is located in the far east of Asia. So all the way to the southeast of Asia. So to many of you, it's truly a far traveling. For our friends from Argentina, where are you from Argentina? How many hours it takes you to fly here? 30 33 hours of flying. Thank you. Let's give applause to her for coming all the way. 33 hours. Mayor, Eric, how many hours it took you? It took, 20 hours or something.
About 20 hours.
About 20 hours. So it's a long distance travel. We truly appreciate that you come and participating in this important event for us. This is an event that Jakarta has been looking forward for so many months. We have done preparations and having G20 presidency has truly re-energized us. We have been focusing so much on domestic issues for so many years, given the challenge that the Indonesia is facing. And then now we are at the G20 presidency. We then realize again the importance to re-engage with the world. And now we're just doing that. Again, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for participating. Let's enjoy the evening and let's enjoy Jakarta. Thank you.
Now, with regard to using bahasa as ASEAN language, we need to enrich our language to begin with. I don't know how many words in Malay today. How many words of Malay? The number of words in the Malay language. How many? Anyone? In bahasa Indonesia, we have 150,000 words in bahasa Indonesia. And I remember when I started my job as Minister of Education, at that time it was only around 90,000. So I told our team, we need to enrich our language because 90,000 is not enough. Do you know how many words in the language, in English language? 1 million. And 7,000 additional words every year. How many languages in Arabic? 12.7 million words. Okay? So when you talk about our language becoming a language of international community, you really need to do our homework, enrich our language. How do we enrich our language? Absorb local language across the archipelago. Across the archipelago. Because in many local languages, even the word falling, it can be 20 words of falling. If you fall to the front, that's different word. If you fall to the back, that's different word. If you fall because it's slippery, that's different word. And if you fall because there is a hole, it's a different word. What I'm saying is that, richness of a language is important when you present it to the international community as an international language. So that is why it's important for us here in Indonesia and Malaysia to continue enriching our language so that we can stand up in the international community and presenting our language to the world. But if we haven't done our homework,
Halo teman-teman, jumpa bersama saya di Politik dan ya, ini luar biasa sekali ya. Bagaimana Anies Baswedan, tokoh yang sangat fenomenal teman-teman ya. Beliau ini ya sangat luar biasa teman-teman. Kalau kita melihat bagaimana gebrakan-gebrakan hebatnya, sehingga Anies ini menjadi Dewan Penasehat di Kerajaan Arab Saudi, khususnya di kota Riyadh ya. Ini kan sebuah prestasi yang hebat teman-teman. Jadi tidak heran kalau Anies ini ya masih menjadi orang yang sangat-sangat berpengaruh ya dari segi oposisi teman-teman. Kalau kita melihat bagaimana Anies Baswedan sekarang ini ya bisa menjadi tokoh yang terkenal ya. Awalnya Anies ini adalah dulunya teman-teman ya. Beliau itu 2014 itulah juru bicaranya Jokowi ya, di Pilpres 2014. Kemudian ya Anies pernah menjadi menteri di eranya Pak Jokowi teman-teman ya, kurang lebih 2 atau 3 tahun ya, kurang lebih teman-teman. Namun naasnya Anies Baswedan ya kemudian dipecat oleh Jokowi, digantikan begitu saja. Anies tidak pernah bertanya ya, kenapa ia kemudian diberhentikan oleh Jokowi, teman-teman. Sebab kata Anies bahwa ya, presiden mempunyai otoritas, teman-teman. Namanya juga seorang presiden, ya kan. Namun ya disinilah Anies lahir ya, sebagai tokoh yang betul-betul kemudian setelah dipecat ya, bagaimana masyarakat kemudian menaruh simpati sama Anies, apalagi pada saat Pilgub Jakarta teman-teman 2017 ya, Anies maju dan menang ya di sana. Dan sampai hari ini ya, Anies adalah tokoh yang menjadi dan telah lahir ya sebagai tokoh nasional, teman-teman. Dan akhirnya ya membuat sebuah gagasan perubahan ya, apalagi pada Pilpres 2024 yang lalu itu menggema ya. Dan nama Anies kembali muncul 2029 ya, dan ini akan mewarnai perpolitikan kita lagi 2029, teman-teman, kontestasi Pilpres. Saya yakin bahwa Anies Baswedan ini ya, akan mengikuti kontestasi dengan strategi-strategi yang luar biasa ya. Bagaimana menurut kalian? Kita diskusi di kolom komentar ya. Sampai jumpa lagi. Salam.